to come through and say is that I really am not here for diet talk. I really am not. I think it's been a while since I've had to like really be around people who are like on diets and stuff. But for the most part, I think the worst part about diet talk is the fact that like people be sucking you in, especially if you fat, especially if you a super fat person. People always try to suck you into their diet shit. They always try to tell you about what they're eating and what they're doing, and they don't think about the fact that one, you might not give a fuck. Two, you're you're not interested in a fucking diet. It's not even that you don't give a fuck. You're not interested in going on a diet. That's just not your fucking life plan. Three, you are on a fucking diet. One that you already made for yourself that you don't feel like you want to fucking share. And four, it's classist as fuck, honestly. And it's also ableist because we can't even be like everybody can have access to the same foods because we don't. That's just not true. You know, like when I go in Whole Foods, I don't buy that much shit. I remember one time I went to Whole Foods, spent like $25 on like nothing. Really nothing. Like one hot meal for two people, $25. And high key, it was soup and bread and some water. Okay? 25 damn dollars. That's crazy. But I guess like at the time, didn't feel like it was so crazy, didn't feel like it was so inaccessible. But then couldn't really afford to eat very well for the rest of the week because I had just spent $25 on one meal. And I'm sitting here like, okay, so we got water for like a day and a half. We got bread for a little bit, but it's just not sustainable. And so I just think, you know, the thing about diet culture or diet talk, but diet culture too, and fat phobia that trips me out is how much we don't think about how we talk about food and how we talk about the ways in which like nourishment is just not accessible to everybody. Like everyone does not have the same access. Like currently right now, like it's a situation where I have so many desires to eat so many different things, but the availability of those things to me are pretty much around payday. That's pretty much when I can afford to splurge because I know what I need to save for my bills and I can pay that, and then I have all this seemingly disposable income that I'm like, okay, where like I've been really wanting to eat this. And so you done waited like 14 damn days to eat this thing that you've been wanting to eat, and then you go in and you're eating and you're enjoying, and then 3 days later you're like, where is my coin? And you're out, and then maybe for the rest of the week you're eating off the dollar menu, or maybe that's not even accessible. Maybe you're just ramen noodles for every meal and lots of water, maybe even some soda. I know for me, I have free soda when I go to work, so I would just fill up on soda when I couldn't really eat. And honestly, like that shit just made me feel terrible because I was just like filling up on all this fucking acidic ass, gaseous ass shit that was just filling my stomach with bubbles, bitch. No snacks, no nourishment, no nothing. So when you're going through that, like we don't talk about the ways that it affects us, our body's chemistry and shit like that, to not even have access to fucking food that you want to eat, let alone food that you think would be positive for you to eat. You know what I mean? Because fuck health. It's like you eat an apple one day, I'm healthy. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't think like we should ever subscribe to politics of healthy or not, because I think that health is very layered. I think in some ways you might feel great and other ways you might not. And I feel like to say fully you're a healthy person, it's kind of like, what are you implying? Who are you dismissing out of health? You know what I mean? Who isn't healthy? You know, by you claiming health, who has to be unhealthy because you're healthy? You feel what I'm saying here? I think we should always strive to do something positive for ourselves, and only we can know what those things are. No one else can know. So, with that being said, I think that when we talk about like having positive experiences with food, having fucking access to fucking food that will seemingly change our body, like things like that, we never talk about access, because I feel like even if the case was, perhaps I did want to go on a diet, I feel like we also don't talk about the fact that when we talk about weight loss, when we talk about losing weight, and this is obviously my personal feelings, that's all I can really talk about. But when I was in Colorado, I had lost maybe 60 to 70 pounds. And that was a very big difference for me. Because for the first time, I was under 300 pounds. And I was in seemingly better physical shape. I felt like my body was just more seemingly flexible, seemingly less fatigued. And I just felt like I could do more physical activity, which in ways I think was also impacted by the fact that much of the social scene is an outdoorsy type of place. It's not the kind of place where everybody just comes to your house and chills. It's kind of like you got to go out, you got to experience, you know what I mean? And that's just what the vibe was. So in ways I was kind of more mobile and definitely more I was definitely more less sedentary. I was less sedentary than I usually am because I was trying to experience the nightlife. I was trying to engage in desired politics and be out here and just like seemingly be on some carefree black girl vibrant shit. But when I moved back to New Orleans, the vibe is not we gotta go everywhere and do all that. It's quite the contrary. It's we gotta sit down and not die of this fucking heat and not die of this fucking thirst and just enjoy some water and just talk and enjoy each other's company. It's more about quality than quantity. You know what I mean? I feel like in Colorado I went out a lot, didn't really meet too many people. And here I barely go out, but when I do, I meet so many folks that want to just kick it at their house, sip and see. You know what I mean? Enjoy the community in a real way and not be distracted by, oh, look, we're going to play bocce ball at this bar. Or, oh, we're going to go on a hike and then get really fucking high and then hike back. You know what I mean? I just feel like a lot of the activities in Denver were centered around activity, whereas in New Orleans, that's not the case. In the groups that I was around. Because I can't say overall, like, no one does activities in New Orleans. That'd be silly. But I think the groups that I was finding myself in and the experiences I was finding myself having I just found myself way more inclined to be active in Colorado. And so when I moved back to New Orleans, I gained back all the weight that I had lost and then some. And in ways, I kind of went through this experience that I went through when I went up 2 sizes a couple years ago. Because a couple years ago, I was like an 18, 20. And then I made the change to a 24, like a solid 24, like 22, 24, but more so solid 24. And it was kind of hard for me to shop for clothes. It was kind of like, because there's not that many brick and mortar stores carrying plus sizes exclusively in the shit that I want to wear, I need to go online. And so if I have to go online to find my clothes, I need to find a size guide. And when you find a size guide 9 times out of 10, it involves measurements that are loosely based a lot of times, or sometimes just based on whatever the fuck they decided. It's not even like the place even knows what the fuck a size 24 is. They've just decided that you're a size motherfucking 32 based on their measurements. And no shades of size 32. What's up? How you doing? I see you in the back. I'm just saying that if you're telling me I'm a size 32 and at the time I'm like a 24, I'm like, what about the size 32s? They over here getting gooped the fuck. They over here getting told that that they need to get an 8X and I'm the 8X. And that's bullshit. I'm also mentioning this because earlier on Facebook there was like this whole deep ass conversation about like smaller fatties like taking up OD space in fat spaces, which is always the case. Y'all smaller fatties, y'all in betweenies, y'all always underfoot. Y'all always trying to pop up, and it's like, look, no one wants y'all to be quiet. We just don't want y'all to talk over the fatter bitches because that always happens. You gotta know, girl. You gotta know. Because whenever they come up with the plus size line, they literally silence all of the larger fatties. Like, we're not even allowed to even like comment because there ain't nothing for us to wear. So it's very clear when you're being silenced, and I feel like smaller fatties don't know what it is. They know what it's like to get bullied and to be called fat. Yes, you do. But you don't know what it's like to have someone talk about, we started a plus size line, and a big ass psych right after the shits that only you hear because all the smaller fatties are too busy yelling, whoa, we got maxi dresses. Yes. Go us. Size 18. No tea. And it's like, for you to take that shit OD personally, it's like, but where's the lie? You know what I mean? I'm telling you facts and you're mad. Why? Because I'm telling you about yourself and you feeling kind of hit like a dog, and that's why you're hollering. I'm just saying. That's just how I'm fucking feeling. I'm feeling like y'all are hearing folks that are fat as hell and talking, and for whatever reason, you know, you would rather focus on us telling you to shut the fuck up than the shit that came after the shut the fuck up. And it's facts behind the shut the fuck up. All right? I'm just saying. I don't know. Nah, I do know. I'm right. But moving forward, as I gained more weight and as I'm going through that experience where I'm like, what size am I? Bitch, I'm over here just trying everything. I bought a bunch of size 24 dresses, bitch. I was mad as fuck. None of them fit. And then I started getting mad like, is this a true size 24? And there's no way to know. Because I swear to God, you go to the thrift shop and find your size 24. It's going to be a random ass tag. It's going to say something like Blue Duluth, EST 1948, 3XL, 24 underneath it, and then that's it. Or it'll say, Bustling Vixen or some shit like that, EST 1990, size 24, 26. Actually, I don't even make no 24, 26. Size 22, 24. And you'll be Googling Blue Duluth, and you will not find that shit. I've done this so many times where I've Googled some shit on the back of a fat bitch dress tag, and bitch, I didn't find nothing. It's just, it's crickets, okay? Where are the lost files? Where are the lost size charts? Like, I'm just like, damn, what have we left behind with the internet? Like, we left behind some real shit. Like, somebody out there got a Blue Duluth size chart, bitch. Tell me what the 3X really is. What's the measurement, sis? It's rayon. It's blue. That's all I can really tell you. But I don't know. I just wanted to come through and just kind of go in because I'm just feeling like waves. Like, I feel like smaller fatties stay taking up space. I feel like being a larger fatty or a super fat or a death fat, as a lot of fatties over the size 24 call themselves, is one of those things where you're just kind of like, damn, you know, like, people just want you to stay silent and listen to their motherfucking diet conversations and shit and try to drag you in. Babe, really? I'm making a video. I literally asked you if it's okay if I made a video. I did not think you was going to run some water.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I did not realize.
I lost it. To come through and say is that I really am not here for diet talk. I really am not. I think it's been a while since I've had to like really be around people who are like on diets and stuff. But for the most part, I think the worst part about diet talk is the fact that like people be sucking you in, especially if you fat, especially if you a super fat person. People always try to suck you into their diet shit. The diet culture or diet talk, but diet culture too. And fat phobia that trips me out is how much we don't think about how we talk about food and how we talk about the ways in which like nourishment is just not accessible to everybody. Like, everyone does not have the same access. Like, currently right now, like, it's a situation where I have so many desires to eat so many different things, but the availability of those things to me are pretty much around payday. That's pretty much when I can afford to splurge, because I know what I need to save for my bills to the same foods, because we don't. That's just not true. You know, like when I go in Whole Foods, I don't buy that much shit. I remember one time I went to Whole Foods, spent like $25 on like nothing. Really nothing. Like one hot meal for two people, $25. And high key, it was soup and bread and some water, okay? $25 damn dollars. That's crazy. They always try to tell you about what they're eating and what they're doing, and they don't think about the fact that, one, you might not give a fuck. Two, you're not interested in a fucking diet. It's not even that you don't give a fuck. You're not interested in going on a diet. That's just not your fucking life plan. Three, you are on a fucking diet. One that you already made for yourself that you don't feel like you want to fucking share. And four, it's classist as fuck, honestly. And it's also ableist because we can't even be like, everybody can have access. But I guess like at the time, didn't feel like it was so crazy, didn't feel like it was so inaccessible. But then couldn't really afford to eat very well for the rest of the week because I had just spent $25 on one meal. And I'm sitting here like, okay, so we got water for like a day and a half. We got bread for a little bit, but it's just not sustainable. And so I just think, the thing about